Hi guys. So today I'm gonna tell you a story. This story takes place about 6 years ago when I was in 6th grade at my middle school at a dance. We all know those middle school dances, the ones that take place in like the cafeteria of your school and really aren't that fun at all, but they seem like they're awesome because they're a dance. For some absurd reason on the night of that dance, my friends and I were there, say, hour and a half early. Now we couldn't go in early, so we just decided to hang out around the school for a while. Now being the weird 6th grader that I was, I turned to my friends and said, "Hey guys, I know a back way in." What would make me want to sneak into the school before the dance started? I have no idea, but that's beside the point. So we go up to a door and casually just try to open it because we know it's gonna be locked, but miraculously it opens. As I peered around the door, I saw an empty room with nothing but a janitor and a mop, but as my head inched around the door frame, the janitor's head shot up as if she was the demented killer in one of those horror movies, just casually going about her business. And so I did what any normal person would do in that situation, and that's squeal a little bit and then close the door again. You can probably guess what happens next. I go back to my friends and casually try to explain why we shouldn't go in that room. Guys, I know I said that we should do that because it was a good idea, but I'm kind of changing my mind. You know, maybe we should just wait a little bit to make me go back in there. Obviously, my friends were confused, but they did comply and they backed away from the door, and then we just went off and kind of ignored it until the dance actually started. And while we were doing our thing, dancing awkwardly and trying to blend into the crowd so we didn't get beat up by the older kids, is when stuff really started to go downhill. For some reason, there were a couple police officers stationed at my middle school because I guess they thought that 13-year-old kids in a good part of town would be doing illegal stuff. I mean, they were right. So my friends and I are dancing when out of the corner of my eye, I see one of the officers strolling up to us. Now, strolling might not be the right word because he was on a mission. He was coming right at us. He was determined to get to the bottom of whatever he was trying to get to the bottom of. Like any normal person would do in that situation, I simply turned to my friends, said, "Hey guys, I'm going to the bathroom, I'll be right back," and got out of there. Now when I got to the other side of the dance floor, I turned back to look at my friends and saw that they were talking to that police officer. I watched casually as they didn't seem to be getting nervous or anything, and then like any good friends would do, they ratted me out. I noticed that the officer said something to them, and then simultaneously they looked at me and pointed. My stare back at them was one of absolute hatred. Really? Really, guys? Really? At this point, I had glanced over and made eye contact with the officer, so it's not like I could run away now, even though I had no idea what I had done. So I just casually stood there until the officer walked up. Now he walked up to me and he said 5 simple words. "Did you open that door?" I was confused for a second, but then I understood, and as I was about to say a casual "yes sir," I glanced down at where his hands were on his hips. More specifically, I looked at his right hand, which instead of being like this on his hip, was like this on his hip, holding his gun. So my answer that came out was more of a yes. "You might be leaving early tonight, son." He told me to follow him and we walked over to kind of the front check-in area. He proceeded to give me some speech about how I wasn't supposed to open the door because it was broken and then they were cleaning in there and I had messed up everything, and I really wish that I could tell you guys exactly what he said because I know it would be a hilarious bunch of bullshit. Unfortunately though, I paid very little attention to what he was actually saying because I was too focused on the fact that his hand was still on his gun, and while he talked to me, his other hand slowly moved around to his back pocket, which contained his handcuffs. So here I am, a little 6th grader, cowering in fear at this giant police officer who's got one hand on his gun, one hand on his handcuffs, and all that I've done is opened a door. Now the police officer alerted my principal, who walked over, they chatted a bit about the situation, and then the principal turned to me and said that I may go, just not to do it again and be safe. But I will always remember that for some reason I almost got arrested in 6th grade because I opened a door. Well guys, I really wish there was a moral to that story, but unfortunately there's not. However, the moral to my channel is stay in school, don't do drugs, don't die, and I will see you guys next time.